If you guys don't remember earlier this year, I signed up to be part of Team Doomsday Discs Prepper Team. Now, anybody can join just by purchasing the Prepper pack on the team page, but luckily I got upgraded to the Survivor Team, which means I get to try out exclusive discs, and it just means I get to be a part of the community a little bit better. Now, I had not thrown a stable Doomsday mid before this point. And with me getting healthier throwing backhands, I'm now in the market for a disc I can throw on a backhand that will hold the line and not burn over, that's also workable. So what I did is I purchased all of Doomsday's straight mid-ranges, and I'm going to show you what I saw when I tested them out in this video. The first disc I tested was the Flat Earth and Survival Plastic. Now this thing had quite a bit of dome on it, like you can see in the video here. Rim was pretty uncomplicated, pretty similar to like honestly, pretty similar setup to like a Mako 3, but domier than any Mako 3 I've had. In the Survival Plastic, it's pretty comparable to like a Star from Innova or an ESP from Discraft. My first test with it was on hyzer, throwing about 185, 200 feet, held up pretty straight. On anhyzer, you can see it holds a nice line all the way to the ground. And then on forehand, what's surprising is it started it on hyzer and then it just completely flipped over. The next disc I threw was the Scavenger and Ration Plastic, which is like their base rubbery plastic. The Scavenger has flight numbers of 5, 5, -2, 1, which definitely makes it flippier than what I'm looking for, but I wanted to give it a couple throws and see how it actually flew out on the course. Now, its rim is pretty thin. This first clip, I tried to throw it on hyzer, but I ended up throwing it flat. It definitely just churned right into the ground. And then the second clip, I was trying to throw a big anhyzer, which it did, and it definitely wasn't coming out until it hit the ground. So maybe the Scavenger is a little flippier than what I'm looking for. You can definitely see it burn over on that forehand. Now, the next disc we have is the Despair with the flight numbers of 5, 5, -1, 1. This came in the starter set. I've got a little bit of practice throwing it. Definitely flippy. I find in this plastic, the Survival Plastic, it's pretty domey, which I'm not a fan of. Now, when we go out and throw it into the field, you can see on a hyzer or flat hyzer, kind of just held the line, right? Went -1, 1. But when we threw it on the anhyzer angle, definitely just holds, and maybe fights out a little bit at the end. Now, on forehand, I was actually surprised how this one flew. I wasn't getting the best releases from it, but definitely pretty straight. The next disc we tried out was the Wasteland in Survival Plastic with flight numbers of 5, 4, 0, 1. You'd think it would be pretty straight. But what was interesting is, do you see the amount of dome on this guy? It's kind of insane, honestly. It was a little uncomfortable in the hand. I think in a different plastic, I'd probably enjoy it a lot more. Now you can see when we put it on the hyzer angle that it held the line. Maybe I put it a little bit nose up, but just held to the ground. On the anhyzer angle, we didn't really get much churn out of it and it faded out. And on the forehand, I think you guys will find this interesting. Started on hyzer, definitely churned over, but it was fighting out at the end. Interesting. The next disc we looked at was the Scope and Clandestine Plastic. With flight numbers of 4402, I knew we were in for something interesting, and I'm not sure if you can see the rim, but definitely a unique rim I haven't felt in any other mid-ranges. This is the one I came in with the most hype for because I had thrown it around a little bit. On the hyzer, you can just see that, hey, it holds the angle and then goes to the ground, just like advertised. On the anhyzer line, what you can see is the disc doesn't really want to churn. It's fighting it and then fades out to the ground. And then on a forehand, although not my best shot, you can just see that it kind of holds the line and gets to the ground. The next disc we looked at is the Desolation in survival plastic. Now this one has a funny stamp because it's an X out. The rim's pretty standard for a mid-range, nothing too unfamiliar. I'm trying to show you some of the dings on top it came with, but luckily came in a little bit cheaper than the other mid-ranges. Let's see how it flies though. So when I start this Desolation on a little bit of hyzer, it's going to pop up just right on the line until it starts fading at the end of its flight. Pretty good. Also what I'm looking for in this spot. Now on the anhyzer line, you can see it gets a little bit of churn and then wants to fight back right at the end. On forehand, it just holds the hyzer that I put on it. And honestly, all around it's looking So we got out on the course to see how some of these mids fly. So I'm going to let the me who was throwing that day take over, starting off with the scavenger.
I don't think I'm parking this basket, especially not first rip. Yeah, it's a good flight. You can really see the churn that one has. Okay, just so we can keep seeing what molds I have. The next one you guys have probably seen me throw the spare. Now in this plastic, it's a little domey. I'll probably put up a little video of all like the rim shapes. That was a little nose up. That's fine. Okay. Next one, I got the flat earth. Let's see how this guy flies. Putting these all on like a little anhyzer and seeing how they come out. Oof. Okay, next two, I got this Wasteland. This is in, I think it's survival plastic. Super dome to it though. I don't know if I'm really a fan of how domey it is, but I haven't seen it fly yet. A little bit of Annie. Wow, that held. That flew too. The last one I got is this X out Desolation here. 6 stamp, got it cheaper because it is an X out. Big rim though, it's like a Rock 3. Ooh, that's a little more stable. All right, and then the last one, the one I think I'm really gonna like, is the scope here. This is a little slower, being a 4-speed versus the rest of those guys are 5 speeds. Yeah, you can see the stability though, like that. This thing's dumb overstable. It's like the tilt of mid-ranges. All right, that's not far. Scope, I've been really digging this guy. Yeah, see, no, it's a 4-speed, but it's a little more pushy than an approach disc. Let's get that birdie. So something interesting for me is during putting league this last week, I figured out that if I can start my putt, if I get it to here, then my release point is true. You guys might have some other strat, but for me, the way my putt works, I go down to my knee and all right, let's see if I can throw the forehand uphill, a little bit of turn. Usually I throw backhand, but not feeling. It's still a work in progress, so I'm going to give it height, I'm going to put it flat. That doesn't look bad. Committed. Okay, so that was probably the most overstable of them. Next one I'm gonna go with the spear here. The spear is supposed to be pretty straight, so I better give it a little hyzer out of the hand. You give it hyzer. I think it's still flying. Maybe not. All right, scavenger. Really underseeable. Really gotta control my angle. Yeah. Wow. That went great. Oh man, I thought I had it. All right, almost. All right, this next hole, I'm gonna throw all the mids on this one. This is a short, like 160-foot hole. Just gotta play like a hyzer. This is the shot I really gotta get better at. Just cause this is where you make your money in tournaments, right? These 160 foot, putting them really close. Hyzer line hasn't been what I've been good at like last year. This is what I wanna improve on. So this is what I'm gonna work on. I'm gonna go with the scavenger first. Yeah, that was my run up. All right, I'll take it more left this time. All right, next one to spare. Yep, yep. Oh, right under the basket. All right, now where I think is next instability, it's supposed to be straight this flat earth. Let's see what it can do. Come on. All right, it's under the basket. Probably shouldn't be. Good throw with it, nice and straight. I gotta get him a little more hyzer. That's just body angle. All right. That's hyzered. It's a little short. That's the hyzer shot I want to throw. Okay, next one, Wasteland. Definitely a little overstable, that Wasteland. Wonder how it throws on forehand. All right, my favorite one so far, the scope. Oh. All right, just grip lock. I'm no Joseph Phillips. Yep, all day. So for this next shot, this is a dog leg to the left. Like if I point my hand in a direction, that way I can see the basket. So I'm gonna need a turnover shot. I wanna throw the more understable ones for this and see how they turn or if they fight out the angle. So I'm gonna go with the most understable one first. I'm gonna go with the scavenger. Definitely churned. A little short, hit something. Okay, now let's see this is the spare. I feel like this will hold the angle as well. I'm a little early. Oh man, that was holding the angle. Whew. All right, next one, flat earth. Gotta throw this turnover. Oh, that's getting there. I think that's putting. Nice. Total tapping. Sweet. Good shot by the flat earth here. Okay, let's do the flat earth. Right line. Definitely getting some churn out of it. Some off-axis torque. Not a bad shot. Okay, despair. I don't know how many people are throwing this forehand. Yeah. Okay, so it didn't burn over at least. Yeah.
So I'd say in conclusion for me, the scavenger, definitely only throwing it over water. It's just not for me. Um, Wasteland, Flat Earth, good flyers. I just didn't click with them. Despair, definitely a good disc. I'd like to see it in a different plastic. And then the Desolation and the Scope are probably going to be fighting for a spot in my bag for that overstable mid-range slot. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching. Comment below what mid-range from Doomsday's lineup you'd like to throw and let me know. Thank you.